Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Hello, everyone. This is Turgon, the wise guy, coming at you with a new video today. And I missed you all. This is going to be the last video of the season, and I'll catch you perhaps in Bag End or perhaps at the beginning of whatever our next journey may be. In today's video, I'm not even going to bother recapping the season. I think I've done that more than adequately in other videos. So that's not what this video is about. This video is going to just be kind of a fun video. I'm going to take a look at my commanders, or I like to call them my legion now. And I want to do some fighting, see if we can get some fights here while we're recording, depending on the timing, how long this video goes, and what kind of fights materialize. And maybe look at some reports of other fights that I have had in the last day or so here that you may or may not find interesting. So let's get started, shall we? I'm just going to take a real quick look. I've reached the 4 million merit mark, which I'm super pumped about. My goal was 5, but it's just not meant to be this go. Maybe next season, maybe not, maybe never. Who knows? I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell the future. But at any rate, I'm satisfied overall with the season. As you can see, we have 30 hours left to go. And we have not signed up for anything yet. We don't know what we're doing. So if people could, you know, stop asking me all the time, that would be great because we don't know yet. It's all up in the air. Everything is on the table. We don't know. We'll get there. Don't worry. Now, let's look at some commanders. This guy you've seen, he's my main. And here's my thinking here. You can see I have 3 level 50 commanders. These 3 are kind of my main commanders. Probably these 2 more so than Gimli. Gimli is kind of I just kind of use him as a battering ram. I mean, you need a damage dealing commander or DD com in this game for a variety of reasons, and this is mine. And I'll cover him in a minute. So, in this season, I have chosen Lothlorien as my faction. Now, my understanding is in the new game, you don't really choose faction anymore. You get to choose what T4 unit you want when you enter the server. Um, and then you join, your fellowship and your mates after that. And I guess there can be kind of a variety of everyone can kind of use everything that's available based upon your alignment, good, evil. If you're playing RP, if you're playing NRP, then obviously everything is unlocked for you to use, and it's kind of an even playing field. But for me, playing Lothlorien this season and having the March Warden as my T4 unit, my main is Elrond. He does insane damage with this gear configuration. I would love to get my hands on my 3rd Elven White Knife, praying to the Matham gods, just waiting and waiting and waiting so that I can be done with this thing. Um, and then I run the Ranger Shroud. He is full nuke. I do not put anything in any defensive anything for him. I'm trying to completely outmuscle you, outgun you with my Elrond. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And you'll see that reflect in some reports when we get to that section of our discussion today. So pretty good. I like these with, the 4-star is significant with 10%. Obviously, would love to get 12% and max it out and be done with it. And this guy gets an extra 16 defense, which is excellent when you're facing physical damage, but doesn't do jack when it comes to elemental damage. And when you're fighting evil, evil has a variety of different ways they can hit you, between focus damage with Sauron and poison damage with, I don't one of the Nazgul, several of the Nazgul do it, burn damage with Witch King. There's just all kinds of ways they can hit you, including physical damage, obviously, as well, with Kyrune, Khaldun, etc. They've got Grima with Madness, and I think he does some poison too. Ah! I gotta mute this channel. And so I also run Aegis on Elrond. You really on Elrond, you need to. It's kind of critical. So I highly suggest doing that. If you don't have Aegis on Elrond, Elrond shouldn't be your main. Um, Not trying to discriminate or make anyone mad, but if you don't have Aegis, then you run severe risk of just straight up blowing yourself up. And I would rather you be mad at me for telling you to get an Aegis than being mad at me for not telling you to get an Aegis after you blow yourself up. Okay? So let's just try to be fair here. Okay? And then we've got the carved dragon tooth with tactical mark. So overall, let me just kind of share with you top to bottom for people who are not familiar or intimate, I should say, with Elrond. What I'm doing is this buffs his base attack stat for elves by 6. This buffs ranged attack by 3. This buffs ranged attack by 3, and this buffs all elf attack by 6. So in my current configuration, let me just take you over to Elrond. I am running all elves on him, which probably isn't shocking. Anytime this wants to render, it'll be great. So if you look at this configuration, my heralds are receiving a total of plus 12 to their base attack stat from the Elven White Knife and the Carved Dragon Tooth accessory. My archers are getting plus 18 to their base attack stat from the Elven White Knife, the Carved Dragon Tooth, all the gear total cumulative. 6 from the White Knife, 6 from the accessory, 3 from the chest, and 3 from the helmet. 18 in all. Now you're like, wow, that's pretty significant because what's 18 minus 46? 28. I'm almost adding a third of damage to this. 18 to 77, that means he's starting at 59. It's really significant increase to their base attack stat. Let's come back over and look at Elrond's skills here. And so after this buff to the base attack stat is done, then you add on stuff like this, 25% plus 10% for each allied elven unit. That's 30% plus 25%, 55%. 55%! It's insane. And then throw on top of that this 10%, so that's 65%. 65%. That's nuts. And then you got Boon. So let's say that the physical damage increase is another 20%. That's buffing 85% physical damage because let's face it, this army only does physical damage. There's no elemental damage going on here. None. And I'm also not even taking this into account either. 16% additional damage to orcs, urukai, and trolls. So 85%. Let's just do some math. Let's just do some basic math here. So if he's doing 78% or a base attack of 78%, let's get out my old calculator here. Calculator, hello. We got 78, and you multiply that by 0.85. That's 66 plus 78. This is the damage you're doing. It's the damage you're doing. And then you add on top of that Convener. Initiative. So he's going first. Unless the other guy has initiative and a faster speed rating. And a 75% chance to gain follow-up. So I am doing, in the first 2 rounds, you take this 144, and if you get the follow-up proc, oh, I'm sorry, I did +2. That's so silly. Times 2. That's the damage stat, the potential that he has in the first 2 rounds. And he's a nuke. He's just a straight up nuke. And if you're running him as anything other than a nuke, then you're doing it differently from me. I'm not going to say you're doing it wrong, but you're doing it differently from me. And you might have other options available because this is my build, and I only have him at Reputation 11. Can you imagine some guy with reputation 25 Elrond where he can put 14 more points and stuff? 7 here, max this out. 3 here, that's 10. You got 4 more points left over. What even to do? Put him down here. That'll give you another 8%. You can put an extra point in here to prioritize the range units, so going against Sunins will be a little bit more effective. And it's just ridiculous. Elrond is an insane commander in this game right now, and awesome. I love him. He's my favorite commander right now. And it may just be because I've got the March Wardens, and March Wardens are ridiculous. And before I move on to other commanders, let's take a look at some reports. I'm not going to just do reports and then commanders. I'll do commander report and then so look at this report right here. I went up against a Khaldun 50 with a frenzy hammer. And normally this spells certain doom for just about all of my commanders other than maybe Gimli, and you'll understand why when I get to Gimli. He's got critical care, Signet of the Barrows. I think this is the best accessory in the goddamn game. Straight up, you can heal and give your guys HP on a commander with this much damage mitigation? Are you crazy? It's crazy. Oh, it's so overpowered. It's so overpowered. And I never seen this guy before this fight. This is really good. Extra defense. I mean, he's buffing his chariots significantly. Allied units damage dealt +6. That's pretty solid. 6%. So I mean, yeah, this gear isn't refined, but this is good gear. From a skill build perspective, I gotta disagree with the fact that he is not putting any points in Hunt down. That is a severe injustice to Khaldun. So, buddy, if you're watching this video, or if you've got a friend that's watching this video, uh, I would have lost this fight if you had points in Hunt down. Like straight up, I would have been slaughtered. I barely survived as it was. And look at the base stats here. You know, the defense being higher, that really helped me quite a bit. Um, these guys, these March Wardens are really tough to kill, and that's reflected here. You can see they took the most damage of all my units, and they survived. I mean, my Heralds are up front, and yeah, 2000 and 2000, 1750. I'm going for damage, baby. I put enough of a meat shield in front so that we can get through the first 2 rounds. And with relatively little damage happening in the back, and I think that this accomplished that. And they obviously do a lot of damage and are quite tanky. So really great unit. Um, really great fight. I think there's a lot to learn from this fight, and we could certainly go into, you know, the details and glean maybe even some more interesting insights from this. But it's just in the interest of time, I'm just going to keep this as high level as I can. I mean, obviously, I'm going to lose more troops when you've got 75 chariots. It's just, in my opinion, this is the most overpowered T4 unit in the game. March Wardens are certainly very, very strong, but Chariots are just, especially with all the buffs you can do, because they are considered both a mounted and a large unit. And I exposed the dickens out of this a couple seasons ago when I played War of the Ring as Rune and was using Khaldun as my main. So you can see I outdamaged him by a significant number, but just look at the distribution of damage for him. 99,000 commander damage. If you had Hunt down, this would have been 130,000 damage I would have lost. And you probably would have gotten the same or a slightly more soldier damage as well. So I think you just, Mirka Dazgub, you just, I think, invested a little bit too heavily in the mitigation side. I mean, 4 points in Iron Guard to me is junk. 50% chance of reducing by 17% is just the juice isn't worth the squeeze for those 4 points, man. You could be putting those 3 of those 4 points in here and getting this a flat 14% all rounds. That would have been more impactful than a 50% chance of reducing only physical damage by 17%. That's and if you had done conversely, taken these 3 points and put it in here, 15%, a 50% chance at reducing physical damage by I think it's 30%, 29.9%, something like that. It's just it, Iron Guard is the last skill that I max on Khaldun because it's only a 50% chance. When it procs, it's great. But when it doesn't proc, it's a waste of points. And you could be putting those points in something that will be impactful throughout all rounds of the fight, like Hunt Down. All right, that's enough of my rant here. I also, yeah, I guess this makes sense doing the follow up here because you've got all men units, so that's going to buff their damage when that procs too. So you're all about the game. You're the gambling type, and the frenzy hammer just makes Khaldun completely broken. And I'll show you some other reports later that kind of give you an idea why. So here I'm doing some sweeping. Here's a fun report where I had no idea this dude had a bunch of mummics here, and he's also this does not have a frenzy hammer, but the mummics just versus a 3 unit army are going to this is bound to happen. I still didn't do necessarily terrible damage. It's not as much as I've seen before him do, but 19 dead to 3,400 dead. Lord Farquaad, my hat's off to you, sir. I had no idea that was there. Normally, when I send my Elrond at someone, I lead with a Frodo bomb, so I understand what's going on. I decided to send blindly this go, and it was a terrible mistake. We're just going to look through Elrond reports. You can see I've got some Gimli, I've got some other reports here, but we'll touch on those later. This is a report where I did the reverse to Lord Farquaad, and he was probably mad about this. And then when this happened, he probably got a good smile. Like we kind of broke even here because of this. And for those of you out there who struggle to counter Grima, this is the ultimate Grima counter. The Aegis protects him from Grima's Master of Mischief bullshit, which this person heavily invests in with this build. He does not put any points in his R5, and I do not agree with this skill build for Grima, but I'm sure he's had some level of effectiveness with it if he's sticking with it. But in this scenario, I absolutely just carved through him like a warm knife through butter. 342,000 damage in all. You can see the damage distribution across my 3 units. Big damage from the big boys in the back. Solid secondary damage from my sentinels. And these guys held up front. You don't have to worry about that outlook reminder. Don't worry. It's all good. I made that meeting myself. And you can see the damage here. I mean, I just ripped right through. I mean, obviously, because of Champion of the Light, I do enhanced damage to trolls and orcs. So, of course, I'm going to spank these guys a little bit harder than the Fallen, which is an evil men unit. Which doesn't make sense to me. They should be an undead unit to me, in my opinion, being Angmar T4, but that's okay. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, here's a good one. Okay, this isn't a great report because I didn't have a full army. This was a follow-up to this. And this was a good fight. Ace has a really great Kyroon. And if he had Frenzy Hammer, I would have been completely effed up shit crick without a paddle. And I know Ace and I both are in the same boat where we're waiting on that confident Frenzy Hammer. I want one too. Someday. But I'm really pleased with this report because I know Ace's Kyroon has been um, devilishly murdering people across our server. And so it's nice to, 225,000 from the March Wardens. It's tasty. It's a good report. And let's see what else I can find here. Do I have any more within reason? Here's a failure. What happened? Oh, I hit the Sauron. But look at the damage. 309,000 damage. This is a tough Sauron. And let's look at his gear. That's why. I mean, HP defense, HP to melee units plus the critical care, HP to evil men, defense to evil men. Just really, let's look at the stats of his units here. Like, look at this shit. Oh my god. So much HP, so much defense. Doesn't buff attack, but you know what? Doesn't really need to, does he? Oh yeah, and this thing also gives HP. 6 HP to the whole army. Brutal. And that's why I'm happy with this report, to be honest, is because when you look at what this does and how it reduces my focus and speed, and I'm just reading this. First 2 rounds against enemy commander, each round might and focus plus 10. And then the third round against enemy commander, might, focus, and speed are minus 10. Okay, that's interesting. So I probably did a whole bunch of damage and nuked him down the first 2 rounds from that, and then after that I got massacred. But yeah, the Imperator stealth mean really really top notch. Sauron here, really really good, and you can see the majority of the damage dealt here was from Sauron because I don't put anything into focus mitigation on my Elrond. So do I have any more Elrond exciting Elrond? Ooh, what's happened here? Oh, okay. Was a follow-up. So this Sauron, very different looking from Imperators, and I managed it pretty easily. 372,000 damage. Really good damage distribution here. Really happy with this. But you can see he hangs in against Sauron. Do I have anything else I can share here? This is a failure. Oh, look, it's a frenzy Khaldun. And he is spec'd correctly. Hunt down, experienced warrior, collaboration, Easterling. He went with the Iron Guard again here. I think you should have gone with the Evil Alliance so that you're getting 10% reduced damage all the time instead of a 50% chance at only reducing physical damage by 21%. This makes sense because you add some elemental damage to Khaldun, makes his commander damage output increase. And then this reduces damage. This is a 50% chance, but I mean, this is his R5 title. You get 15 focus for it, and it's reducing all damage received, not just physical damage, which makes it better, in my opinion, than Iron Guard. And then Quicksand, which is very good. Damage received plus 20% against 2 targets every round, plus 10% chance to inflict stun. Huge, 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 huge. And then you look at his gear, Iron Guard, 18% chance. 18, he recovers 18% HP each round. It's just like, it's so broken. Damage received negative 6%. Defense plus 12 plus HP. Defense plus 24. Attack. It's just super broken. Attack large unit plus 90. So let's look at his stats here. Like, his defense and his HP aren't as high as Imperators, but whew, the attack stat is up. And let's look at the commander damage that he does this fight. 122,000, 121,000. Look at the disparity there. I mean, that is it's just too much damage even for my nuke to be able to handle. It's too much damage. Plus the heal on top of it. Man, Stranik, really really nice Khaldun, bro. Really really nice. My hat's off to you. Any others real quick? What's this? No, junk. Let's look at one more if I have one more. I don't think I have any more. Well, so that's my Elrond review. Let's take a look at this one. Oh, okay. We got a Reckoning here with Accelerate. I think this is Pursuit. Yep, Hunter's Mark. Melee Suppression. Melee Vigor. Interesting. Point in Collaboration. Yeah. Solid. Solid, solid, solid. Whew. Really nice. So as you can see, lots of Khalduns, Kyruns, Grimas, and my Elrond does what my Elrond does. What happened over here? Who's fighting me? I don't care. I'm just kidding. Here's another Sauron. Let's check out this Sauron real quick here. All purple. Okay. Anyway, coming back to the next commander. This is ultimately the build that I've settled on for Isildur. I've swapped his build around like probably a gajillion times this season. I've tested out Ring Bearers with Ring of Terror. I've tested out and Enfeeble. I've tested out Consequence of Greed with Enfeeble. I just don't really love the Madness build on him myself because it takes away from his ability to put out pure physical damage, and I like that with the R3 maxed out, benefiting from this plus 3 HP from the Rangers and the Dunedain, and then another plus 2 HP men attack from Last Alliance. I'm liking Coalition now. I was hating on Coalition earlier this season, but I've come to find the light, and it has nothing to do. I don't care about this men 75% chance to deal highest damage because it's nice to have, but really this elf 75% chance to gain initiative, that's what I care about because with keepers, they can do some serious damage. And then I'm buffing against orcs, Urkai, and trolls. Free peoples, another 10% mitigation, and then a little bit of extra defense and damage there. So it's a pretty basic skill build for him. Let's look at his gear. You've got the unique for another 6 HP. So I had 5 from the R3 and the R5 titles being maxed, plus 6. That's a plus 11 HP to my Rangers and Dunedains. Attack for men and elves plus 6, their base stat. It's huge. This is the same as Gigantic Hammer, guys. A lot of people run Gigantic Hammer on Isildur because they don't have his unique, and you want his unique. People are like, what's a good T3 good side commander unique to get? Hands down, Isildur, in my opinion, is the best because of all the stuff that it does for him without any refinements whatsoever. Next, we go to the Mithril Coat, 3-star refined, tactical maneuvers, all damage reduced by 12% in the first 3 rounds. Very good on him. It stacks with his R5 and R1. I put Aegis on him too. No. I mean, it's only 66.7% chance because it's refined 3 stars. But as you can see, I only need one more and it'll be 4 stars. And then it'll be, what is it, 75%, 80%, something like that? 85%? So loving this helmet on him. And then his accessory is really variable depending on what your matchup is like, who you're fighting. Predominantly, in War of the Ring campaign, I'm fighting only evil. And I like just going with this because the only time he really doesn't benefit from this is fighting evil men. I like the extra 3 HP. We already talked about the plus 11 HP that he's getting to his Rangers and Dunedains. Let's throw 3 more on top of there to make them even more beefy. And don't forget about the extra 36 defense to army from the Mithril Coat. So my men units are super beefy. I absolutely murder orcs on him. I use an all melee build. He absolutely devours Sunins for breakfast. And I love having a hero, or I'm sorry, not a hero, a commander that I can just purely use as a Sunin counter. If I see a Sunin, I don't run, I attack with this. 80 defense, 50 HP on Dunedain. With 4,000 of them, it's pretty difficult to wipe him. And then I like the Rangers, since they've got a lower defense, they usually get attacked first. But since I have these guys in here, they get attacked first, which is unfortunate. But if they live, they do some serious damage. And it's a lot of fun. Let's check out some reports. Let's see what's been going on here with Mr. Isildur. Sorry, if you haven't watched Rings of Power, you don't understand the reference there. Here's a draw versus a Sauron, and I'm okay with this. He survived. This Sauron really surprised me. Usually when you see a guy with no warband, you're like, well, that should be easy. And no, definitely never judge a book by its cover, because this is a pretty strong Sauron, all things considered. He's got Aegis, he's got Sustain on the pipe, extra focus and healing, tactical maneuvers completely maxed out, 18%, and then the smite. And I mean, just Sauron and is such a strong commander, arguably one of the strongest in the game, especially depending on what respect you have him. Since he's level 50, you want to learn a trick to understand, to figure out what respect someone is. He's got 50 levels, right? So let's count how many points he's got here. 15 and 15, that's 30. Plus 12, that's 42. plus 12 from these two, that is 54 plus 14. 54 plus 14 is 68. 68 minus 50 is 18. 4 points from Impart Wisdom. This is an R14 Sauron. Hey, Saphira, if you're watching this video, leave me a comment. Let me know if my math is correct there. Looking a little bit further at this report, look at this damage. Does he even have any archers? No. You don't need to be facing archers for Dunedain to be strong. You don't. They're just really... I it's funny, when I first started playing this game, I wanted to use Dunedain, and I experimented with them before I had gear and knew how to skill my commanders right, or even had Isildur at all. And I thought they sucked, and now they're one of my favorite units, along with March Wardens, of course. Look how much damage they took. Massive, massive, massive. Um, just for the sake of brevity, and to be fair, let's check out the damage here. Yeah, look at this Undying, the Fallen here, just really strong. They get stronger as the battle goes on. They take damage, they get stronger. Let's check out the next report. It's a Grima! And thanks to my Aegis, I didn't get massacred. That's my best guess anyway. We're not going to dig in the details to understand which rounds I was affected by madness and wasn't, because you can see here he did about 100 and... No, he did about 100,000 damage, and I received 122,000 damage, so clearly I blew myself up a little bit there. Whether it's from Isildur hitting my own units, or one of my units didn't get affected by madness immunity from the Aegis and he maddened them and we hit ourselves, I'd have to dig in the details to ascertain that. But let's take a look at this Grima. All in all, considering a 50 versus 47, this Grima did really well, and considering the gear. So he's got manipulate, not hysteria, sustain, that's where the heal's coming from, extra defense, and Cutlass. This is, a solid. This is really what you're used to seeing out of Grimas. Although I disagree with only putting 3 points of discipline and 2 points in outflank, I would put 5 in here for the extra defense. You want your guys to be beefier. The longer, especially your Reapers, the longer the Reapers survive, the more damage they do. And it looks like I massacred them. And I don't know if they did so early or not, but probably, yeah. I think I probably targeted the Reapers, and then the Evil Men units just were able to hang on. Interesting report there. No, I don't want to look at the Gimli report. Let's look at this. Nope. Oh, nope. Where are you, Isildur? There you are. Happy with this report, all things considered, versus this Witch King, who is interestingly using quilted armor, has madness immunity, which doesn't matter to me because I don't run madness, Isildur. It's got pursuit, doesn't matter because I don't run evasion. Only 2 units. If you had a third unit in there to maybe kind of, I don't know, maybe he did have a third unit in here. Let's take a look. He did. Okay, so this is a follow-up. He wasn't full. So I guess I'm okay with this, considering, it's not a full army. But the damage that he did was still, he took out my keepers. And I remember looking at the details of this report, and I'll tell you exactly what happened. Round 2, these guys, alchemists, Convener, slaughtered all my keepers. And that's why I didn't do good in this report, because I had no keepers. So, interesting stuff there. Just some insights to share. Let's look at one more Isildur report, if I can find one that is a fair one. Okay, so this is a tough one. I mean, Isildur is not great versus Kyrune or Khaldun. He's specializes, he's pretty good against Witch King. He's, obviously my soon encounter, but against pure physical damage commanders, he is not super great. And this is a report that shows you why. It just doesn't stack up really well against pure melee builds, being an anti-archer guy. But I hung in there and I did okay. I survived. Oh man, I didn't mean to X out of that. That's okay. We'll go on to the next one. Let's check out my Gimli here. So Gimli, by the way, in case you haven't noticed, this is going to be a long report. This is going to be a long video, and I apologize in advance. Sort of. It's not really in advance now that I'm probably 30 minutes into this video. So we got Balin's axe at 3-star refined. So he gets 16% extra damage from the might and pursuit from having a focus of 110. He gets defense and might from this, burn resistance, melee vigor, HP, HP, plus 9 HP to units. Good stuff. I'm just trying to keep my units alive so that my Gimli can do as much damage as possible. Here's the skill configuration: 6 and 3, as much into break defenses as possible. I did experiment earlier with putting 2 points in Lockbearer and 1 point in Protect Elves. The heal was junk. I would maybe get 2 or 3,000 heal per fight, and it just didn't seem to be doing anything for me. So I decided to go with this build, and it's definitely stronger because you're giving Gimli a little bit more damage. You're getting more damage out of Gimli than you are the extra protection, the extra 4.2% defense to dwarven units protecting the elves. Um, from my testing, anyway. So let's check out some reports real quickity quick here. I'm only going to let's look at like 3 or 4 reports tops. So here's one, and this is a Frenzy Khaldun. No refines though, but he does have Bane of Dwarves, and that made this hurt a whole heck of a lot. And I'm telling you guys, if I haven't said it before, I'm going to say it now. Bone Mask with Manipulate, I think it's way better than Hysteria. I'm sorry, like it's just 42% is insane. But correct skill build here, in my opinion, based upon the points that he has available, and it's strong. But my Gimli did pretty good. 334 total damage received, 276,000 commander damage. I'm happy with this report. This to me shows me the ceiling of what my Gimli is capable of. Let's look at a couple more here. Here's a draw against. This is the same Frenzy Dune that crushed my Elrond, and I survived. So it just goes to show you different tools for different jobs. I still was able to do 300,000 damage between the commander and my soldiers, and he took 332,000 damage. Look at this damage distribution. I mean, it was even before. It's still even after making it through a full 10 rounds. And it looks like the reason why I survived was because he wasn't full. I'll acknowledge that. And you know what? I'll take it. I don't care. I lived. So let's just check out my stats here of my guys. After all of the stuff has been factored into the combat, and you might be like, why are you putting this one command of Sentinels in here? It's just to spread the damage across 3 units, and since Sentinels have evasion, to the 100% chance to evade, unless he's got pursuit, which he doesn't, right? Am I right? No pursuit, no pursuit. So this evades damage. It's a decoy to help take a little bit of the pressure off the main tanks. Let's see, what else do I got? Oh, this guy got spanked, but again, he wasn't full. You know why he wasn't full? Because he ran into this. So I mean, how much of a difference does that 24,000 damage make? Not a whole lot. Solid damage. I'm happy with this. I don't know a whole lot about this commander. I think it is this Kamul? I don't know this commander off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's not Kamul. Who is this? It's not Undying. I know that. Shit. Somebody leave a comment and set my ass straight here. But I'm happy with this report all in all. Didn't I get any merit for this? Why isn't it showing me my merit? Something's broken here. I think it's with my blue stacks. I think my blue stacks is telling me it's time to call it quits for this video. Uh, and then here's Gimli going against this guy's Frenzy Dune, which we saw a report with my Elrond on earlier. So um, this worked out pretty good. But again, he wasn't full. But the reason why he wasn't full is because of my Frodo bomb. I love my Frodo bomb when he does this. Oh, it just makes me giggle because I don't care about these three commands. It's great when you do this with your. This is, it's great. I'm not going to talk anymore about it. All right, let's look at some of my weirder comms. I don't really PvP with Gil-galad much because usually he gets slaughtered, and so I'm going to skip him. And his gear, I mean, yeah, I got a couple gold pieces here, but I mean, I'm just throwing leftovers on him with a Mirkwood bow, and I just threw a Trapper's Hood with Hysteria on him to call it a day, just to give him something else. And I'm not even using the best trait for him. I decided to test him with Fortitude to Elves because I was like, let's see how good 7.4% damage mitigation all rounds is, as opposed to whatever it is, 25% focus burn damage, focus burn poison damage mitigation. And I wish I had not done that because stacking with a high alert, I think, would have been better. But it is what it is. I learned. I'm moving on. Moving on to Gandalf. So here's my Gandalf, and I think he's done some really. He's been better for me PvP wise this season than in any other season I've ever used him because I'm throwing my gigantic hammer on him with 4-star refined rend. So he ignores 15%. Let's just round that 14%, 0.9% up to 15. 15% of target defense. It's huge. And then melee vigor. There's the manipulate baby, and then Bane at works. So he's got HP, melee, defense, and then what do I run with him? Well, right now he's sitting in my base without any troops because he got brutally slaughtered last night. I lost a bunch of troops right here. And honestly, I'm not even mad about it because for a 47 versus a 50 Sunin, I'm okay with this. This is what I was running with him unit wise. 1,000 cataphracts up front to tank with 1,100 March Wardens and 3,000 sharpshooters in the back to do damage. You can see the damage. Man, the March Wardens just never really had a chance to get going. I probably did some decent damage with the sharpshooters and Convener, but they all just took so much damage from this. This Sunin just absolutely. I mean, Hunter's Mark. I'm not. Well, it's Gandalf. So with Mithrandir, he cut right through me like a warm knife through butter. Melee suppression. So that helped him get through my cataphracts more quickly. Yeah, really strong Sunin there. So that knocked me out pretty good. But all in all, considering 47 versus 50, I'm all right with it. See if I can find any more Gandalf reports here. Here's a draw, and it was a good one. I found Gandalf's arch nemesis, the Witch King, and I laid down a beating on him. 278,000 damage received, 4,700 dead compared to 906. This is the matchup you want with Gandalf the Grey. 10 times out of 10 if you can manufacture it. The tanks tanked the damage. The archers did their dirtiest from the back, and it all was peachy and happy. Let me see if I can find one more report with him just to see what I can find here. I did a lot of PvP yesterday, as you can see. That's not, well, yeah. Okay, so here's another one, but this is not a great report because it's not full. Because there's your Gil-galad. So yeah, I mean, my Gil-galad got absolutely massacred by this pursuit Sunin, and then my Gandalf did his best versus her as well. So if she hadn't had pursuit, I would have killed her. But She had pursuit, so I got massacred. Going back to Gimli, I just want to. This is an interesting Usra, the Blitz Fiddle, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, so that takes you through my top five commanders. As you can see, I have five commanders level 47 or higher. I have others. And if you watch some one of my other videos, you'll see my Knight Aragorn 2, cut through Witch King. So I'm not going to cover that. I don't have any recent reports of that, so we're not going to do that today. But that's what he's set up to do. I don't have any recent PvP reports with Galadriel, and honestly, I'm glad because she's not really my finest geared commander. She is level 42. I use her to sweep predominantly, and I like her. And I am hoping I can get some levels in these two pieces of gear and do some further testing next season. But I also did some testing with Haldir this season, and no, the gear's not that sexy, but he does do some damage. Let me tell you. Buffing the ranged elves attack damage plus 9%. That's significant. Even though this is not a beautiful helmet for Haldir, I didn't want him to be able to blow himself up, so that's why I did this. And then I gave him the harp with Hunter's Mark. Why the harp? I wanted the speed for the elves because with his chest, he gets initiative. Skill build perspective, you gotta have guide. Stun immunity over the first two rounds is critical, plus the plus 45% damage. It's massive. And then I put 6 points in this for the heal and the extra damage. And then I wanted the poison damage here from Sylvan Elf. 20% chance for follow up. Not as good as Gilgalad's 25%, but you know what? When it procs, it's significant. And then beast training, I run him with eagles in the front. Galadrim, another 18% damage for ranged units. Effect modified by speed stat, and another 15%. Sorry, plus 15 might from maxing the title, and then 1 point here for the evasion, which don't do shit when you're going against pursuit. Let's see if we can find a report. I know I have one, and I know it was bad, but I'm happy to share it anyway because you know what? There's only one way you learn in life, folks, and it's not by winning all the time. You got to be willing to lose to understand where the bar is set. And you can see how what units I used on him. I'm using 100 Eagles up front as tanks. Healing is rather significant. 19,000 heal is not bad considering. Well, maybe people would expect more with Beastmaster, plus that skill he's got. But then you look at the damage that he did all in all, the distribution of damage. Okay, I mean they took 100,000 freaking damage. And these guys took 105, so it wasn't like a gimme by any stretch of the imagination, but 131,000 commander damage on top of what do the units do? 157,000. There's no T4s in here. He went with the Reaper build. Just whew, too much. Too much power. 93,000 damage from the Reapers in the back just annihilated me. The Dragoons soaked probably well, no, only 18,000 damage, so they didn't even take a lot. I probably got pretty shit on pretty early in this fight, but it was a good learning experience, and I don't think I have any other decent Haldir. I got some mobs. You want to check out some mob reports? Let's see if I dig back a little bit farther, if I can find one more Haldir report. No, no, no. Keep going, baby. Keep going. Mobs. It's just all mobs. I like to sweep with him. I sweep also with Faramir. I'm not going to walk through my Faramir because I am going to disassemble his ass after this season. I'm going to take his unique chest that is gobbling up gold chest pieces, and I'm going to use an elven hammer on that thing, and I'm going to buff up some other pieces here. Come on, there's got to be one report in here somewhere. Where is it? something. If you can hear my kids screaming in the background, I apologize. If you can't, then my kid is outside screaming, probably peeing off of the deck and screaming with gleeful delight at how funny that is. He is 3 years old, going on 4, so these kind of things are amusing to him, and my wife doesn't seem to mind. So, okay, let's check out this report. Oh, this is when I got betrayed by a guy because I took 1,000 merit from him trying to help him. And this is what happens when you go up against my Haldir with a Gilgalad, and my pursuit just shredded him. All right, so just trying to see if I could find another report for him that wasn't against a friend betraying me. I would really like that. No, come on. Come on. There's got to be one. As you can see, I like to fight a lot. If you didn't know that about me, I like to fight a lot. I am not scared. I am a little embarrassed that I don't have a good report that I can share with you guys. I shared a bad report, and I mean, I guess the Gilgalad report is a good report. It's kind of not fair though, because I just cut through his evasion with my pursuit. I thought I had a report somewhere in here against a Witch King that I was pretty proud of, but I am just not finding it. And if you're like, yo, Turgon, this is gone on long enough, you would be right. And I found what I'm looking for, so now I'm happy. This is a pretty solid report, and you can see I'm not using March Wardens here. I switched over to Sentinels, and I didn't have 1,000 Bow Knights. I only had 900, so I went with what I had, but it worked out really well. What is this commander? That's going to drive me nuts. But solid report. Is he full? He's not even full, is he? Son of a gun. What happened? Okay, I killed like 150 of his T4s. So it's not a very significant nerf, but it is getting a little bit of a head start. So you got to factor that in when you're analyzing reports, folks. If it's not full versus full, it's not a fair fight unless you're going up against someone who is significantly higher level, like a 40 versus a 50, or a 39 versus a 47, or this is a 43 versus a 45. So I'll take this as viable. I'm happy with this report. You can see the Eagles took the damage, a lot of healing, pretty decent commander damage as well, and really happy with the damage that my Sentinels did. And the BKs did all right too, so I'm happy with it all in all. All right, my friends, that is all my commanders that I wanted to talk through. We looked at pretty much everything I wanted to look at. There ain't nothing else. Like I said, I'm going to disassemble this guy. I don't know what I'm going to do with these purple pieces. I'll figure out something, but this is going in the trash. Looking forward to next season. Just want to throw some shout outs while I'm wrapping up here. I want to throw out shout outs first and foremost to all the people that were on the evil side on this server. MORG, you guys are absolutely fierce competitors. Nothing but respect and love for you guys. And I wish you all the best in your next season, whatever it is you may be doing and whoever it is you may be facing. I also want to throw shout outs to BCNU, to REAL, Real, OONT, some of these teams you saw in my reports here. I just want to, tip my cap to all of you because the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season were extremely competitive, and we had to do a lot of work to kind of get to this almost vacation side of the season. The last week or two has been a little boring, ever since all of the events in the game ended, Blackgate event, Frodo destroying the ring, all those kind of things. Ever since all that ended, you could tell a lot of people just kind of went to sleep, and not just on evil side, also on the good side. Just not as many, because when you're winning, you want to keep playing, and when you're losing, you don't. It's natural. It's human nature. So anyway, I'm rambling. I also want to throw some shout outs to my good side colleagues, uh, Swan and Talk. You guys did really nice work this season. Thanks for being excellent and collaborative with us. The Fence and Gray, Tower, Imla, Razor, Captain Price. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for everything you did. Honestly, early in the season, Yadu with a couple of other fellowships like HISP, Swan, Gray, well, now Gray were more so in the east and the west, but I think they were kind of split. But we were kind of out west holding it down versus MORG, and then on the east coast, Tower were really holding it down in Horondor, South Athelion, Dead Marshes, and Gray were down there with them as well. And that collaboration and being able to split our teams and be effective on both sides of the map was really a key ingredient to this season being a winning season for us. So, my hats off to all those folks, HISP, all you guys, Held and Hammer. You guys are a terrific team. Nothing but love and shout outs to you guys. Got to do my shout outs to Danny, to Falk, Pure Hate, Ser, Isildur's Herb, all the leadership team of Yadu. I appreciate all of the work that you guys put in, both from a planning and strategy perspective, as well as a playing perspective, people perspective. I also want to give some shout outs to Uber Elf and Vanilla, and who are some of my other guys? Arcano, uh, Tuor, Aperk, um, Mothmallow, my boy Mothmallow. Glad to see you're back, brother. Not sure if you're gonna watch this, but just want to make sure that the love is coming your way. And who are some other of my friends? Azor, Lord Morpheus, Turgon, not to be confused with Turgon, Turgon. Not an alt of mine. He is a buddy of mine. We've been playing together since season 5, and he's a good mate. Who are some other folks I want to throw some shout outs to from my good team Yadu? I love this team. Thanks so much for having me. This is my second season with Yadu. Looking forward to the next one and many more. Who else can I throw shout outs to that I love on this team? Oh man. I hate it when you just throw a blank. You're like on the spot and you're like, who can I oh man. Casa, you're a good dude. Love you, Casa. Scoobs, congratulations on that new baby, bud. Hopefully, we'll see a little more next season. And a shout out to one of our alumni, Legend. This is going to be my last video for a while, so that's why I'm kind of taking a couple extra minutes to just really pay homage to some people. Shrike, gotta give a shout out to our Shrike, aka the Poacher. Um, Much love to you, my friend. And who else? Who else do I love on this team? Oh boy, Weps. Weps, gotta give love to Weps and Zico and Mandingo, my other boys, my Balrog boys. Love you guys. Great work this season. And who else can I think of? Well, I think that's enough for now. I definitely gave Danny a shout out, but I'll give him a second one because I love him so much. How's the fishing today? Is it a good day for fishing? I think it's a good day for fishing. Fishing for compliments? I don't know. I'm just being silly and rambling on and on here. So, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate you supporting me. Please leave me a like and a comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Let's check out a couple pins here before we get going. Ooh, 1.6 mil. We got 2.6 down here. 454,000 dead, 1.3 million dead. Yeah. Oh yeah, I want to also do some shouts for my boys in KGHT, Knight and Ring, Tharshay, Ring. Hey, appreciate you guys as well. Let me see if I can find anyone else. Hive Mind, thanks for all your help this season as well. Anyone else? Who am I missing? Who am I missing? I am intentionally not throwing shoutouts to one team because, well, I like Malkoth the Invincible. He seems like a pretty decent fellow. There's some good guys over there, but all in all, um, I'm gonna just not say anything about that team. We'll leave it at that. So let's wrap up this video. Let's wrap up this season. Thank you, everyone who participated on the good side, on the evil side, the people who played the full season, the people who have taken their foot off the gas pedal since all the fun stuff actually ended. I appreciate every single one of you. I don't judge anyone. I love you all. It's a fun game. It's a great game. I'm looking forward to testing some of the new changes that they're implementing in the game following this season, depending on what campaign we play. Like I said earlier, I don't know what campaign we're playing next season. It could be anything. Really, there's only three choices between Rebuilding Glory, Tactics Evolved, Kings of Men, but who knows? It's all up in the air, and we'll see what happens when we get there. And maybe we'll find a friend in Bag End that'll join us. So we have a solid uh, second fellowship to combine with in our faction next season. That would be nice. Really looking forward to that. Maybe, hopefully, knock on wood. So, anyway, thank you so much again for taking the time to watch this video. I hope the rest of your day, your week, your month, your season, 2023, it treats you well. Take care. Turgon the Wise, signing off. Cheers.